Right-hand side of the train,
Nice.
see the
Nice.
Universal Studios
First time going live.
over
What?
400 acres and one of the biggest and
pause it if you
busiest
want.
studios in
You
the
can't
world.
pause live.
As
Pause
such,
it?
be
No,
prepared
you
for
can't
tours
pause live.
approximately 45 minutes to an hour
Yeah.
long. We do
So-
have a lot of fantastic things to talk about, of course.
Say
After all,
hello,
this is where
everyone.
we made such
Welcome
things
to Universal
like
Tram
Fast and
Ride.
Furious,
Yeah.
movies, Back
With
to the
JP
Future,
rocking over
Jurassic
here.
Park,
Check
shows
out
like the
Fast and
Movie
Furious
Series
under
X,
construction.
starring Judy
Yeah.
Smart,
And we're going
The
to see the
Voice,
new roller
Bel Air, The
coaster,
Good
which
Place.
is coming
We'll
out
have
in
the chance to talk about all that
2026.
and more today. Now it looks like the tram gates are all closed. We'll be taking off in just a moment. I'll make this a quick final call for 3D glasses. Again, if you don't
Come
have
and
a pair
check
already,
out Warner
this is your one and
Brothers.
only opportunity to get them, so raise your hands if you need a set. All right, I'm not seeing any raised hands. Perfect. Well, then we got the all clear. We are heading out. I want everyone to
there's
look to
zero
your left.
views.
Wave goodbye,
Oh,
everyone
whatever.
standing in line. Goodbye.
You can still watch it even if it's not
As we
live.
officially make our way out.
Goodbye.
Now, like I said before, my name is Trevor. I'm going to be your tour guide this afternoon as we explore the Universal backlot. Arguably, though, I'm not the most important person on board. That would be our driver, Pendar, who's taking us around this afternoon. Say hi to Pendar, everyone.
Hi,
Bye, Panda.
He says hi back. You said a nice hello, everyone. Now, in addition, it's not just the two of us. I do also have a co-host. You might know this co-host from his time on Saturday Night Live or The Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon. Here he is, Jimmy Fallon.
Welcome to the Universal Studio Tour. I'm Jimmy Fallon. I'll be making sure you get through this experience in one piece. You've got the very best guys
Trevor!
and the greatest driver.
Pendar!
They're the best. I love it. Even though
Trevor!
it owes me $5.
Whoops, forgot about that.
You guys decided to get on the
You forgot about the $5.
safety.
That is correct. I do
Sure,
have to
right
go over
there.
GL's
Yeah.
safety rules for your safety and comfort while on board the tram this afternoon. So, first off, if you need guest assistance or have a medical emergency,
trees.
or if you drop something of value off the side of the tram, or if you have any sound or
Fast and
video
Furious.
issues, reach out
Fast
and
and
grab the
Furious
emergency cord
ride.
that runs along the center of the ceiling of the tram, and I'll be back to assist you as soon as it's safe to do so. Otherwise, during the entire tour, please remain seated. Keep your arms and legs inside the vehicle at all times. The studio is private property, and if at any time during the tour you drop your phone or just can't wait to use the restroom, pull the cord and please remain seated. Also, please no smoking of any kind during the tour. And be prepared, our tour today features loud noises, fire effects, and many water effects, so you may get wet. There are also sudden tram movements during the tour, so secure your first belongings and hold on. Finally, for your
Ooh,
safety
we
and
got
those
three
around you,
views.
please do not use selfie sticks while on board the tram.
This is the new tram ride.
All right,
the new
folks,
Fast
with
and Furious
all
roller
of that, the way
coaster.
we're leaving the theme
Oh,
park
we got
behind, and we are heading
views.
for a real functioning studio, where over the years we have produced television shows, commercials, music videos,
Yeah.
and of course movies.
It's gonna be
In fact,
coming
our
out.
legacy began back in 1914, and for over 100 years, many of your favorite films have made right here in Universal Studios.
Can you believe that's
In fact,
coming out in
we're currently traveling down
2026?
what we refer to as the Universal timeline, just a fraction of the wide variety of films that Universal
That's
Pictures has
crazy.
produced. Now, as for the left-hand side of the tram, you'll notice a lot of construction happening for our upcoming brand new roller coaster, Fast and Furious Hollywood Drift.
Yeah, that's what
Folks,
he's-
I cannot wait. It looks so cool. It's coming out in
Wow.
2026. To find out more details, you can visit universalstudioshollywood.com. Now,
Look
as
how
for the
highlights wanna
right-hand side
go.
of the tram, you're going to see the Universal Studios Fire Station, which, by the way, that's not a set. Those are not actors inside. That's our real functioning fire station because we here in Universal City, we're a real functioning city. In addition to being medical
That's crazy
services,
that
we
they're
have a
real
deputy
functional
station, we
city,
even have
right?
our own zip code.
It's crazy that they're real
Really, the
functional
only
city.
difference between Universal City and I'm sure
Yeah,
the
it's
lovely
pretty
town you
crazy.
folks are coming from today is that Universal City is entirely dedicated to making films and television shows. That's
Hear the loop
really
back.
what we're all about.
Yeah, then that's the loop
Now,
back.
for the first part of our tour,
when you're on
we're
Fast and
taking a trip
Furious.
to the front lot. The front lot contains
Front
all
lot.
aspects
Wonder
of
what
film
that is.
production, and there are multiple stages of production process as well. Of course,
Then we
there's
got
the pre-production
ginormous
phase where you
buildings.
select what scripts you're going to film. We're going to cast in the various
Posters.
roles,
So
what
we
it's
got
going
that
to look
poster.
like overall, and then
got these
filming
posters.
commences. And the best way to describe that is a phrase you've likely heard before: lights, camera, action.
Then this is the
And a lot
backside
that
of Jurassic
filming
Park,
take place in
guys.
buildings like the one to the
So
left-hand
once you
side
go
of
on the ride
tram,
at
one of
Universal
our sound
Studios.
stages.
Mario
Now, the one
Land
we're
back
doing right now is
Yeah,
stage
that
12,
too.
and
Can I
not
see it?
only is the largest sound stage we have
Right
here
there.
at Universal Studios,
And
in
we
fact,
got
one of
more
the 10
posters.
largest sound stages in the entire world. And here's just a small sample of some of the films that have used sound stage number 12. You might recognize a couple of them. Yes, even exterior scenes like
Stage
that
11.
hey, sometimes
We're on
are
stage
filmed
11.
inside a soundstage.
Wonder what they're doing.
We in Hollywood,
Inside.
we love using sound
Look
stages.
inside.
First
What's
off, it's
inside?
because they're 98% soundproof. But construction often happen a lot. Trucks and trailers.
You just saw the
constantly
inside
drive
of
by for the most part.
soundstage. Oh,
Well, you
now
won't
we're
hear
gonna
any
see
of that
inside of
inside the
soundstage
sound
10.
stages. Plus, as you saw, we can really build whatever we want inside them. The
That's
tiniest
crazy.
of office cubicles to the largest of mansions would have such a set,
know why
such a
this is
mansion,
that.
as that's where they're currently filming the fourth and final season of the television show Bel Air, which airs on Peacock. It's based on the hit 90s series The Fresh Prince of Bel Air. How it's a
Stage
very
7.
dramatic retelling of that story. Now, in fact, here to tell you a little bit more are a couple of its stars, Jabari Banks and Ollie Charlton.
What is you put egg on the cheese? You put cheese
This is
on
where
the
all
eggs,
the
on
actors
cheese.
come.
That's right. Whoa, how many seats do you think are in there? I don't know. It's gotta be those pivotal scenes that been filmed right here. Jabari, what have been your most memorable moments? Ooh, I don't know. I mean, there's so many to choose from. You know, I love the 4-year set when Will first enters, and at that moment, his life changes forever. What about you? Well, the Bel Air Academy gym set is here too, and I remember you having to sit in that cold ice bath for hours. Yeah. And that was great. I can't feel my toes. No, but seriously, my favorite part of this lot is the talented crew who put it all together from hair, wardrobe, makeup, set design, props, and transportation. Yes, yo, Transpo's the best, and they have the sweetest guys for us to play with. Actually, speaking of, if we're gonna get a ride like this, we better go talk to Transpo now and let these people get back to their tour. Yeah, that sounds good. I'm not to drive. Oh, not if I got the keys. Oh, not the time. Come on, man.
Thanks, Jabari and Ollie. Now, NBC Universal's television history goes back 85 years, with the opening day ceremonies of the 1939 New York World's Fair marking our first broadcast. Since then, we've produced and televised some of the most popular, longest-running shows ever seen on network television, just like The Jeffersons, Columbo, Coach, all filmed right here at Universal Lot. More recently, to the right-hand side of the tram, we're passing soundstage number 19. That was home to the television show The Good Place for 4 years. That was starred Kristen Bell, Loon Jackson Harper, as well as Ted Danson. Speaking of another Ted, to the left, you might recognize a certain teddy bear who's celebrating that
Ted.
not only he has 2 movies under his belt named after him, Ted and Ted 2, but also a TV series also named Ted, which is a prequel to films. By the way, they recently wrapped up filming season 2 of Ted for Peacock, produced by Seth MacFarlane, who also voices the titular character. Details are tightly wrapped, so of course it was fantastic to have that production, that whole cast crew at Universal Lot. Now, in addition to the left, we're passing a very important area on the studio lot right now. All these small buildings that you're seeing, these are our production bungalows. And here to tell you more about this area are the stars of the upcoming film, How to Train Your Dragon.
Hey there, Studio Tour. I'm Jared Butler.
I'm Mason Thames.
And I'm Nico Parker.
You know, these bungalows to your left are actually production offices.
Home to some of Hollywood's biggest filmmakers, including Mark Platt, one of the producers of our new live-action movie, How to Train Your Dragon.
Everyone wave. Might be there right now.
Focus on
And if you haven't already, be sure to meet the iconic and beloved Toothless over in
doors the white
And see our movie only in theaters June 13th. Get your tickets now.
But in the meantime, here's a sneak peek.
Everything we know about dragons is wrong.
Alfred Hitchcock
Yeah. He was in that building.
studio office.
How to Train Your Dragon. Rated PG in theaters June 13. Get tickets now.
Yes, don't miss How to Train Your Dragon, only in theaters, including our very own Universal Cinema on City Walk, beginning June 13th. One more thing to note
Hey,
about
the
producer
video's
Mark
online.
Platt, by the way. Not only did he produce How to Train Your Dragon, he also produced the Oscar-winning
Golf
film
carts.
Wicked, as well as the upcoming film Wicked for Good, starring Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande, which, by the way, I don't know if any of you folks saw the trailer that came out
like we're
last
into
week
the
for Wicked
city.
for Good. Looks fantastic. Cannot wait to finally watch that movie. Now, by the way, in just a moment, we're about to transition from the front lot and head to the back lot portion of our tour. Our back lot is where our large-scale exterior sets are located. Very quickly, though, to the left, we're currently next to a couple more of our sound stages number 25 and 26. These are some of our more recent ones. First used back in 2016 for Hairspray Live, which aired on NBC. Really, because it's a huge part of the filmmaking process inside these sound stages, which is why they look a lot different from our other ones. There's a writer's room available, rooms for hair, wardrobe, makeup, everything that we need to put on a show. Currently, Stage 26 is prepping for Season 2 of St. Dennis Medical, which stars David Allen Greer, Wyndham Clendon Covey, and Allison Tolman. That show airs on NBC as well as Peacock. Now, by the way, as we drive by some of our sound stages, one thing that I want you to pay close attention to, on the corners of the buildings, there are little red lights called wigwags, essentially named after a dog wagging its tail. Whenever you see them flashing a bright red, that means that filming is happening inside. Now, if that does ever happen, of course, we enter a quiet zone. Essentially means I have to stop talking because I don't want to ruin whatever scene they're filming nearby, but just be prepared for that. Well, anyway, though, we're now entering our back lot, where one of our first stops is going to be Skull Island, where King Kong resides. Here to tell you more is the director of the 2005 film King Kong, Peter Jackson.
It's the original King Kong that made me want to go into this. I saw
You want a King Kong right now? Ooh, it's King Kong.
I like films that just take you away from your real life and sweep you up an inch. Kong literally does that. I mean, you're on board a ship, you're sailing to a lost island, you're encountering monsters and creatures from, prehistoric
Guys, it's a
times.
train.
Famous old
So I was
tram
thrilled when
ride.
Universal invited me back to Sky. It's great to have you along.
That used to be the original
Now, we
tram.
have created this 3D immersive experience.
He's never gonna get
You
ahead in
don't have
life.
your glasses.
Yeah.
Don't put them on yet. Just have them in your hand because we're about to return to Sky.
He's only half the man he used to be.
Before we
Yeah.
return to Skull Island, a
He
brief
was never
reminder
full.
to please remain seated at all times. Keep your arms, feet,
Alright,
legs
so
inside the
guys, this
vehicle.
might be a bit
If you're
blurry
carrying
where it's coming
belongings with you,
from.
now is the time I
But
recommend
we're going to
holding on
Skull
those items
Island,
tightly.
everyone.
Hold on tight in general, as visiting Skull Island can be a bit of a bumpy ride.
Glasses on.
3D glasses, guys. Let's get them on. Alright, we're going to Skull Island.
Got the GoPro on hold.
Yeah. Skull Island, guys. Ooh. Oh, that's right. Come on, I just see their bones. Let's get him, get him. Oh, the tram! What was it? Oh! Oh, man. Oh, I just got soaked. Oh, that's a spider. Oh.
And
I think I just
was
died.
King Kong 360
way.
3D.
Yeah. I think some of it went in my mouth.
What?
I think some of it went in my mouth.
Oh, nasty. Hopefully it's not recycled.
Everyone, feel
No
free to
way.
take off your 3D glasses now. Please do hold on to them, though.
But man, they had like wind coming at you.
Yeah,
Like, yeah.
blower.
that was projected on some of the largest 3D screens in the world that are 40 feet tall and over 180 feet wide. And it was done thanks to director Peter Jackson and the folks over at Weta FX. Weta FX has won 7 Academy Awards and worked on such things
It's the
including
city.
a Minecraft
We're coming
movie,
back.
Deadpool and Wolverine, the television show The Last of Us, and Avatar: The Way of Water.
Going back to the city.
It's in the middle of the environment. So they're looking in all directions. There's creatures coming at them. They're seeing Kong from this side and T-Rexes from the other side. Working on a movie, we always know where the people are.
Yeah, we're going to New York from LA.
Yeah. That's crazy. It's like there's a teleporter.
Time travel right there.
Also,
Yeah.
one of the things about this ride, unlike the movies that we're used to working on, there's no cuts because it's one giant shot. This tram driving along through Skull Island. This is where the camera's from. This frame represents where the screen is 10 meters away.
We're really creating about 50 minutes of a feature film. That amount of visual information, that number of pixels, and presenting it to the audience, it's a hell of a ride.
Now, the technology for creating King Kong has really come a long way when you
That's
think
the
about it. The
backside of
original
New York.
RKO picture came out back in 1933. They just used an 18-inch figure representing Kong and did with it, at the time, a rough version of stop-motion animation. Of course, when you think stop-motion animation today, you probably think of fully animated films like the Wallace and Gromit franchise or Tim Burton's Night Before Christmas. Essentially how it works, they set up the camera in a fixed position, they'll place a figure in front of it and just take a photo. Then they'll tweak, adjust, move the figure a little bit, take another photo. Do that thousands of times and combine all of them
This is
in
a
about
tram
roughly
ride
24 frames per
person?
second. You'll have, in this case, King Kong look like he's roaming throughout the jungle. Anyway, folks, coming up on the
What's they doing
left-hand
over
side of the
there?
tram, you're going to see a little bit of one of our backlot exterior sets, our metropolitan area. Currently, they're doing a photo shoot inside there, but our metro sets, they've been used for such things like Transformers, directed by Michael Bay, as well as Captain America: The First Avenger. When you see Chris Evans
Behind the
running
scenes of
down
this new movie.
1940s
Don't
New
know
York,
what the
chasing
movie's
after
for.
Hydrangea, yeah, that was right over there in the Universal backlot. You might be thinking yourselves, by the way, Trevor, Captain America, that's Marvel,
What
that's not
movie you think
Universal.
they're doing?
Well,
He said
we're
a
not the
photo
only
shoot,
people that
so-
use these backlot sets. The folks called location scouts who read over the script, mark down different locations they'll need for filming. That's when we'll start scouting all over the place for just the right spot, including potentially renting out
Soundstage
our
34,
backlot sets.
31.
Now, in addition to the left, you're going to see a couple of more sound stages, soundstage number 30 and 31. Now, as we get a closer look, you'll see soundstage number 30 has a rather large iconic V on it. That's where we recently wrapped up season 27 of The Voice, which was on NBC and Peacock as well. And Team Buble won this season, so congratulations to him and everyone. Now, as we head further into the backlot, we really do use everything on the studio lot for filming, not just our backlot exterior sets, but the studio itself. So, for instance,
think-
the
yeah, the
left-hand side
creature
of the
of the
tram, we're now
Black
passing a
Lagoon?
body of water that we refer to as Park Lake.
Yeah.
Yes, that has been used for
It's a lot
filming as well. It was
smaller.
transformed in the entirety of the Pacific Ocean for the classic television sitcom, McHale's Navy.
From the creature
In
of the
addition,
Black Lagoon.
personally, I'm a huge fan of our classic Universal Monsters and was used for a film that last year celebrated its 70th anniversary.
Imagine being there and
It's the creature from the Black Lagoon. All of us at Universal, of course, love our monsters. They make up a huge part of our history, dating back from the 1920s, all the way to just a couple of weeks ago on May 22nd when we opened Dark Universe at Universal Epic Universe in Orlando, Florida, which, folks, I don't know if you've seen the photos and videos of the area. Looks amazing. Cannot wait to finally visit that
That's a
land.
hometown village.
Really, that whole park as well. But anyway, I digress. To the right-hand side of the tram right now, you're seeing a little bit of our Western sets. We'll get a closer look later on in the tour. Now, in particular, we're currently passing our Denver Street, which was transformed into 1800s Australia.
Those over
The film
there.
Satan, Mr. Banks. Those sequences starred Colin Farrell lead role. You might have more recently seen as Oz Cobblepot, the Penguin for HBO.
Penguin.
All right, folks. So at this time, a brief reminder once again to please remain seated at all times. Keep your arms, feet, and legs inside the vehicle, and please hold on. So it's such a lovely day. I figured right now was the
Oh, the
perfect
beach is
opportunity to
closed.
take a trip to the beach.
Oh,
And what better
it's
beach
just
to
the beach is
visit
closed.
than
Why?
Amity Island? You might have heard recently about a shark problem. I'm sure by Mayor Vaughn, they've caught the shark. Security right now, in fact, is doing final preparations before they reopen the beach to the public. So hopefully we'll have the chance to head on out.
Oh no.
Oh,
Oh no.
oh, no, folks. Boy, I have a friend George who's a diver. I sure hope he's in there. Oh, no, that's George, isn't it? George, quick, get out of there. There's a shark.
George!
Oh, no. Poor George.
Aw.
Well, gutsy guy being in there.
George is dead.
Oh, I see his
You can
guts,
safely
too.
say that.
I saw blood.
I think that's his cherry
Everyone
juice he
say, do
was
you want to pull the
drinking.
tram forward further behind this pier?
Battery trigger free fun.
Vanguard,
Yeah.
thank you so much.
Who knows? The public
Yeah,
fruit
there's that
punch
barrel
party.
full of bait out into the water that'll hopefully distract the shark.
Yeah.
Well,
Hopefully.
there's gasoline. Hope it doesn't catch fire.
Yeah.
Oh,
Hopefully.
Yep, take the bait and half the dock with it. I think we need a bigger tram.
That wasn't part of the plan. Oh. Oh. Man, that shark's strong.
Pretty hot for the summertime.
Yeah.
Look out, there's the shark!
Oh. We almost got eaten by a shark.
I think we lost somebody.
Yeah.
And that, everyone, was Jaws. Jaws has been a fan favorite attraction since 1976, when the shark made its backlot debut. There have been a few different iterations of our mechanical shark over the years, starting with one that we affectionately refer to as Carrot Tooth, because of its oversized teeth. Now, as for a shark today who's slowly doing the backstroke, getting ready for his next take, he's a professional. What can I say? His name is Bruce. He's named after the original mechanical shark from the film Jaws, who's in turn
Those are some
named
good
Bruce
notes.
after Steven Spielberg's attorney. Now, by the way, the film Jaws is celebrating its 50th anniversary this year. It was released on June 20th of 1975. And the original mechanical shark for the film Jaws, infamously, was very difficult to work with. When they originally built it, they built it for freshwater. It worked like a charm in that case. But they filmed Jaws over Martha's Vineyard out in the Atlantic Ocean. First time they put in the salt water, well, it sank in the
Was it
ocean.
gonna rain or
Yeah, that was just a small
Yeah.
sign of the huge troubles they
Kinda looks a
encountered
bit cloudy.
while making the film. All right, folks, for our next stop, we're now entering our old Mexico set. It's down here where we have a weather demonstration for you. We'll show you how exactly we create weather effects in Hollywood.
Whoa.
So it's a lovely day, nothing could possibly... Oh, spoke too soon. No, it's
come
all
on.
Hollywood magic. To the left-hand side of the tram, you can sort of see the lightning right now. That's strobe lighting that we used to create that. As for the thunder, typically we don't add sound effects like thunder for the
Whoa.
post-production process. Now, as for the rain that started pouring,
Yeah.
no fancy technology
I thought-
involved.
it
It's
said
coming
all
out
clear.
high-powered sprinklers. Gravity does most heavy lifting in that case. Or heavy falling, I should say. And for any of you taking photos, recording, you might notice as in rain, well, it's a little bit difficult to capture on camera. It never quite comes out as dramatic as you want it to. Well, to record rain, we'll do one of two things to make it stand out. If it's bright like it is right now, we would just take a reflective surface, point it towards the sun, just to make it pop a little bit more. If it was nighttime though, we'd place a background.
Oh,
Hang on, folks, looks like we have a
that's
flash
not good.
flood.
That's whoa. 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 Whoa, that's a lot of water. Whoa.
One of our oldest attractions for the studio tour, Flash Flood, created back in 1968. That area has been used for filming as well. It was used in the music video for Lady Gaga's song Judas, as well as the film Big Fat Liar, which starred Frank Muniz, Amanda Bynes, and Paul Giamatti.
You can't outrun a wolf, kid! Yeah, we'll see about that. Hang on, funny
Cool stagecoach.
Yeah. Doesn't look like it works.
Well, we're headed further into our western town. We're now headed specifically into the western town known as Six Points. We call this area Six Points because back during the silent era of filmmaking, this street had 6 different roads connected to it. Honestly, it was much larger than it is today. Every road, much like this one, had its own bank, its own saloon, its own jail, all of the filming locations you would need to make a Western. They were actually able to film 6 movies here simultaneously because it was the silent era, the time they didn't have to worry about sound bleeding over at other productions. You might recognize these streets if you watch Quentin Tarantino's Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. That film starred Leonardo DiCaprio, Margot Robbie, and Brad Pitt. Brad Pitt, in fact, won an Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor for his work in that role. This is where Leonardo DiCaprio playing Rick Dalton. He was dropped off to set, of course, very upset with the way his career is going, though fortunately he did have a young Julia Butters comfort him. Now, something minor to note about Six Points, by the way, if you look around, all the brickwork that you're seeing lining the buildings, well, not real brick. It would be very time-consuming to lay out real brick. And these sets occasionally go through quick turnaround times. We're constantly using for filming. So instead, what happens? So we have a plastic molding, which looks a lot like brick, which we can set up, film whatever we have to, and then tear it down as need be. Really, whatever the next production requires. Now, in addition, coming up on the left, one more soundstage we're briefly going to see is soundstage number 33. It's right across Park Lake right here. Now, soundstage 33 is currently where they're prepping for season 2 of the multicam sitcom Happy's Place, starring Reba McEntire, which airs on NBC and Peacock as well.
Okay, we're back at the
Now, a multicam sitcom, by the way, generally takes about 5 days just to make one episode of show. For the first 4 days, the actors are working on getting them on its feet, memorizing their lines, getting their blocking down. They're doing all that hard work because on the 5th and final day, that's when we bring in a live studio audience to watch a taping of the show. The laughter you're hearing when you're watching a sitcom like The Big Bang Theory, Friends, Will and Grace at Home, that is a real authentic laughter. Oh, the red emergency cord has been pulled. If this is a medical emergency, please pull the red cord again. Okay, I'll be back to assist whoever pulled the red emergency cord. Just have your hand raised.
Ooh, shorts. As a bloopers. Yeah.
I'm the victim here. Don't you smile. Don't you smile right now. Just cut it in the end of the
Ooh. I heard lightning.
All right, folks, I thank you for your patience. It should be just a moment.
What movie that is? Tree.
All right, folks, perfect. Thank you so much for your patience. All right, so one of the next backlots that we're about to visit, coming up on the right, see our Little Europe set. Now, our Little Europe set, one of our older backlot sets that we have in the Universal lot. So as such, it's been home to many of our classic Universal monsters. Now, in fact, it's so old, it was used for a film that is 102 years old, The Hunchback of Notre Dame. That film starred Lon Chaney. For those who don't know, Lon Chaney was a phenomenal actor known for doing his own makeup, creating these very creepy, almost grotesque characters. He was so good at it. In fact, he was often referred to as the man of 1,000 faces. But These streets that we're driving through right now, Boris Karloff's Frankenstein, Bela Lugosi's Dracula, they both had the chance to prowl through these roads. In addition, these same streets were also used for Disney's Pirates of the Caribbean, The Curse of the Black Pearl. This is Port Royale. When you see Captain Jack Sparrow, played by Johnny Depp, escaping from the authorities, he ducks behind his statue and faithfully enters Will Turner's blacksmith shop, played by Orlando Bloom. Yeah, that was right here in Little Europe as well. These streets have also portrayed Paris, France multiple times over the years, including for the television show Gilmore Girls and the 2011 The Muppets movie starring Jason Segel, Amy Adams, and Kermit the Frog. A couple of my television comedy fans on board, though, might best recognize this area today as being the good place.
You, Eleanor Shellstrom, are dead.
Cool.
This location, the afterlife, I have never ever seen this. You're in the good place.
I'm not supposed to be here. I can't risk going to the bad place.
I wonder if there's any dinosaurs in there.
How can I help you?
What is the bad place like?
Got to go in the subway.
Well, it doesn't sound awesome.
Got to go in the subway.
Yeah.
I've mentioned a couple of times, by the way, if you've not seen The Good Place, highly recommend it. Fantastic television show with a lot of twists and
Guess we're gonna
turns
have
that
to
I
go
won't
to
spoil.
a Subway.
Plus, is created by Michael Schur, who also co-created Parks and Recreation, which, hey, is another fantastic television show. Most recently worked on a show called A Man on the Inside, which aired on Netflix and also stars Ted
What's in that?
Danson. All right, so at this time, folks, once again, remember to please remain seated at all times. Keep your arms, feet, legs inside the vehicle, and please hold on.
The doors are opening.
So we have a very exciting opportunity right now. We're driving through one of our sound stages, soundstage number 50. They are working on a brand new production. I will say, of course, since it is Sunday, the cast, the crew, they're not working today. That's why we had the chance to drive on through. Take a look at the interior of a soundstage looks like.
Caution. Filming
Here we
progress.
go.
Do not enter.
Something to note, this is what we call
think
a
we're
hot
entering.
set. That means that's a technical term. It means everything is camera ready. This is exactly how it's going to look when you're Zoom filming tomorrow.
Yeah.
Now just look at all the tiny details that goes into bringing a location like this, even as
Hopefully no
something
train
as simple as you
comes.
think as a subway station to life. Nearby, by the way, we have a building called the Edith Head Prop Department. That's where set decorators go to rent out all of the set dressing that you're now seeing occupy this space.
Power
Now,
cable.
in addition, something that's honestly somewhat unique about this set, normally you
Universal
wouldn't think
Studios.
too much about it. This is actually a two-story. Whoa! Not to worry, folks. That happens in California. Please stay seated. Hold on.
What's happening?
Uh-oh, folks. This just might be the big one.
Ow! 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 Something! Oh. Wait, did Oh, that's... Oh! Whoa! Oh! Whoa! Oh! Sorry. Think something's gonna happen? Watch out! Oh! Oh! Watch out! Watch out! What?
Congratulations, folks.
The train almost ran into us.
Earthquake, the big one.
What's inside it?
Inspired by our disaster classic film Earthquake,
Yeah.
which was originally released on November
come back.
15th of 1974. That film starred Charlton Heston, Richard Browntree, and Ava Gardner.
Wow.
Now,
I've
by the
never
way,
seen
there
a train
was
go
another
backwards.
disaster classic that was originally supposed to come out just a month after the movie Earthquake was released in December of 1974. Fortunately, due to difficulties with filming, they delayed that movie into the following summer. Now, that film, when it comes to the biggest movies of all time, created the term blockbuster, as we all know it today. You've all heard of it and experienced it earlier today on the tour as well. Jaws, created by Steven Spielberg. Now, by the way, speaking of director Steven Spielberg, he played a very important role in bringing the attraction Jaws to the studio tour. And as we're doing a little bit of backtracking, very briefly, we're about to drive by Amity Island from Jaws once again. I'll let the man explain for himself about how he exactly brought
we can't go
Jaws to
back
the
to the
studio
beach.
tour.
The Jaws ride was almost
Yeah.
the inevitable result of the size of the
beach is
box
that
office
way.
when Jaws first opened
But we got
in
this
June of
house.
1975. And that was really the first time I ever got involved in the creation
Ooh,
of
what's
a
up
ride.
out there?
It was a great honor to be invited into a creative circle of tremendous designers at Universal that were trying to figure out how to replicate what the movie had done to audiences in a real way by building a physical shark that would come out of the water and terrify tourists as they were sitting in the tram.
That happened to us.
The Jaws ride, it is exactly as it was from the time it was first placed on the Universal lot. There have been tweaks, of course, over the years, but it is essentially what the designers and myself all envisioned and created. I'm done bashing the shark. Thank you, Jaws, for everything you've done for me. But I will say, consistently, the shark did work much better on the tour than it did in the Atlantic Ocean in 1974.
Now, folks, the left-hand side of the tram, quickly passing Colonial Street, best known as Wisteria Lane for ABC's Desperate Housewives. Currently, they're working on a brand new television show inside called The Burbs, which stars Keke Palmer and will come to Peacock. It's based on the 80s film of the same name with our Tom Hanks and Carrie Fisher. In fact, to left, all of these cars that were now passing, like that garbage truck, the police vehicle, those are all picture cars for The Burbs. Now, picture cars, they're literally any plane, train, automobile that you see on camera at any given point. To give you another example, even this tram that you're all riding on right now, it's been a picture car as well.
What's in there?
Folks, we're now 15 minutes away from the end of our tour, and we will be returning to the theme park shortly. Just remember to pull the red emergency cord if you need assistance, and please remain seated at all times. For my fans of cars, have your cameras at the ready. Now we're passing some of our more well-known picture cars. For instance, to the left-hand side of the tram, you're going to see Fred and Barney's vehicles from the Flintstones, starring John Good and Rick Moranis. Those vehicles aren't made of wood or stone, by the way. They're made of foam, rubber, and fiberglass. As for the right-hand side of the tram, we also have the blue Ford Anglia from Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. Over the course of filming, they used 16 and a half versions of that vehicle. For one of them, they had to chop off the front half to get all of those close-up shots of Daniel Radcliffe and Rupert Grint as they were driving away from the Hogwarts Express. And finally, this tan 1930s Duesenberg to the right was written by Academy-winning actor Brendan Fraser for The Mummy Returns.
I think I recognize this
If anyone's
place.
feeling a little bit tired, I totally get it. Maybe you want to stop off at the Bates Motel from Alfred Hitchcock's Psycho, where I hear there are 12 rooms with 12 vacancies. In fact, right now I figured this was the perfect opportunity to stop here, take a nice short nap, and... Oh, look, that's Norman Bates. I wonder what he's up to. That's odd, but no worries. I'm sure he'll help us get settled in just a moment. Hopefully no one minds sharing a room. I know we're a fairly big group. Hang on.
Whoa.
Is that a dead body? I don't know about you guys. I'm suddenly pretty freaked out. I sure hope he... Oh, he noticed us. Hi, Norman. Oh, yep, Drive, Pendar, drive!
Well, we escaped that.
Oh, that was a close one,
got
folks.
the miniature
Okay, never mind.
Hollywood.
Forget the network. Keep on rolling along. We'll grab a coffee after the tour if you really need something.
Yeah, top left. Yeah.
Or hot chocolate, your choice. Oh, he's still watching us too. Oh no. Sorry for disturbing you, Norman. Promise we won't tell anyone what we saw today.
It's so.
Now, as for the left-hand side of the tram, very quickly passing Norman Bates' home. His house is what we call a shell set. What that means is, even though there's a fully formed exterior, it's really too small to have much of an interior. So we actually had to build the interior inside one of our sound stages, on the front part of the studio. Well, now we're entering the set for the film War of the Worlds, which was directed by Steven Spielberg and starred Tom Cruise and Dakota Fanning. Over the left-hand side of the tram, that plane is a real 747, though was decommissioned before it was used for filming. Here to tell you more about this location is production designer Rick Carter, as well as director Steven Spielberg.
There's a giant alien does that.
Perfect example of the set.
Well, whoever's lighthouse that was.
And for to sit down and talk about the War of the World, I thought, what if 747 goes down right in a big neighborhood? Because it's just something you don't see.
You're doing good. You're doing good. Keep your eyes on me. Listen, now, listen, I want you to close your eyes, okay? Now, closed. Robbie, get in. Get in.
And now we're leaving it.
At Universal, we've had the opportunity to work with a lot of iconic film directors over the years. Some of the more recent ones would include Christopher Nolan, who last year won an Academy Award for Best Director for directing Oppenheimer, which also won Best Picture at the Oscars as well. Another person on the list, Jordan Peele. Jordan Peele got a start in sketch comedy. He was one half the duo of Key and Peele before he transitioned over in writing, directing, and producing, where since then he's become a master of the horror genre. He won an Academy Award for Best Original Screenplay for writing the film Get Out, which is also his directorial debut. Right now, folks, we're heading inside the set from this film. Specifically, we're entering Jupiter's Claim. Here to tell you more is writer and director Jordan Peele.
Movie magic only happens when a team of collaborators, often in the hundreds, work together to take an impossible notion and bring it to life. This is Jupiter's Claim, a nostalgic, small-time Southern California amusement park owned by former child star Ricky Juke Park.
Oh,
Over there,
ooh, a motorcycle.
and have your picture taken just like the kids in that old 90s movie Kid Share. That's what this whole place is loosely based on. Remember that one? No? Why? A little further down, you can see the brand new Star Lasso experience. Built to showcase an unbelievable new live show. It's not quite so live anymore. Anyway, behind this Hollywood fantasy, gold rush frontier town, lies a sinister secret. Welcome to the world
Yeah.
of no.
Hey, anyone here?
Look at him.
Wow, that roller coaster is open. Surprising how that roller coaster got broken. Ooh, rooster.
Passing the old Fast and Furious road.
Yeah.
For the final segment of our tour, coming up
passing
on the
the
right-hand
original
side of
Fast
the
and
tram, you're going to
Furious.
notice a massive blue screen.
Yeah,
We
that's
refer
the
to this
original.
area as Falls Lake, and Falls Lake incorporates both what we call practical effects and
Crazy.
digital effects. Practical effects are things that happen on set, essentially anything physical. It might involve the use of puppetry, makeup, something to trick the lens of the camera. In this case, Falls Lake has a water tank that can be filled
Coming
up
to
about
the end of the tram ride.
2.7 millions
Make
of
sure
gallons of
to
water.
subscribe to JP
Now,
Rockman
as for
over
digital
there.
effects, that happens during the post-production
Yeah.
process
See
using
you later,
CGI, also
Rocky
uses computer
101.
generated